Good afternoon, it's Vanessa Baker here with some more crafting from my studio in Waiuku. Welcome along. I forgot to look and see if there were any announcements this week, beginning of the month. So we have a new product of the month that is available now. And I do know that they've added some new things to the clearance rack, so that last chance list. So if you're looking for maybe a discount on something that you've had your eye on, then check out that list on the website, and you never know, it might be on sale. So I'm just going to flip the camera around, and there we go. Let's just zoom in a little bit. Yeah, I'm trying to make this better quality, but I actually looked on my phone and the quality isn't too bad on the smaller screen. So, and I think I am terrible with looking up stuff like that, but I get the feeling that that's when most people are probably watching. Okay, just checked that I have sound, so we're all good. Right, so today it's funny, I thought that this paper, the Moonlit Flora, yes, Moonlit Flora, I thought the paper was out of stock, but that's actually come back into stock, and the embossing folder is currently out of stock, and that's what today's project was about, was the embossing folder. But anyway, you may already have it, or this could be something you can tuck away for use in the future. So my plan is, and I've done this once before with the sunflower embossing folder, and that is just one that I have left of the cards I made with that. That was about 9 months ago, I think. So just showing how you can use designer series paper and then drag your ink pads across it to get a different look with the embossing folder. So we're going to do that today, but with the Fern and Flora. And then make a card with it. And I'm also going to show you how to put together the little flowers. So there's a die in the set that looks like this, which is kind of strange. When you first see it, you think, what on earth is that? A whole lot of bows? But they cut out that one die cuts out 3 flowers, and then you put them together. And this little one here is the inside of the flowers. So again, that cuts out 3 at once. Very handy. So let's get started. So the first thing is, I had a piece of this paper that was a bit of an odd size, so I'm kind of sizing it to the paper that I have. But you could, if you prefer to go further out to the edges, you can use any size you like. And what I'm going to do is run it through my folder, and what I want is for the this is going to be the side we see, and what I want is the where the embossing goes in to be on this side. So what you actually need to do is do it the other way over, so that you get, because if I did it that way, I'd have the raised side on the top. Yeah, that's correct. So you do it the other way over. And it's quite cool. You can actually position it in your folder. So like I could turn it around this way and just decide what scene I want before I actually just go ahead and run it through. So I'm looking there, and I'm actually quite like it sort of that way, I think. So I've got a whole lot of different leaves and things coming across. So I'm going to run it through. You put this end first into the embossing machine, and it has the grey plate on top, number 4. So just quickly do that. Okay, and here is our embossed piece of DSP. Very cool. So the next step is to colour it. I tried using 3 colours, but I found this background is already quite dark, so I found it was a little bit too dark. So the plan is to just use 2. So I've got Old Olive and Peaceful Pine. And now you're basically just painting with your ink pad. So you use the end where the pad is closer to the edge, and you're literally just going to drag it across. And so this is now hitting the high areas of the embossed paper, and it's actually a little bit showing the lines, but so I've still got a little bit of that colour of the lighter colour, which is soft sea foam coming through on those leaves. Okay, so we'll leave it with that, and then we're going to add some Peaceful Pine. And I thought, oh, this isn't going to work because my ink pad isn't close to the edge, but it actually does work. You just have to have it flatter. So I'm kind of holding it a bit flatter. Oh, it's not working this time. It worked better before on my play practice one. I think it's a bit of one of those things that it might take a little bit more practice with this ink pad. But it's giving a cool effect still. I just keep turning it and dragging until I'm happy with the coverage. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. So it just adds some more interest. You've got the texture there of the embossing, and then we've got the different ink colours with the original colour of the paper showing through on the recessed parts of the leaves. So it's quite cool. Okay, so that might need just a second to dry because there's quite a bit of ink. I think also that Peaceful Pine is quite inky because it's a new pad. So as I was putting it on, I could see it was quite wet. So we'll just give that a little bit of time to dry. I can't find my sponge. Oops. But a tissue works. And while we're waiting for that, I can show you the flowers. So the flowers cut out. So you've got your centres there, and then all these bits for the flowers. So what I do is I just put the sort of similar sizes together. So there's one that's like a half flower, like a closed flower. So that's that one. We'll put that to one side. And then with the ones that are left, I just sort of eyeball them and say, you know, that one probably goes with that one, and that thinner one probably goes with that one. And that's how they go together. They just overlap like that. So if I grab my tweezers and hold on to so I could put my little dot of glue there actually. Oops, that's probably a teeny bit too much, but anyway. What we could do is then we could dip that one in. No, we'll leave that one. Hang on. I'm going to use that blob of glue for both. We'll take our other one, get some glue on it, and put that one together. So they just go across and glue in the centre. That was plenty of glue. Actually, let's do the centre of that flower. You've got this little centre, which I did. Oh, I was going to daub them first. That's right. I thought they would look cool if we just do a little bit of colouring with that soft sea foam. So I'm just getting some on a dauber. Oh, I should have tapped that off first. It's a little bit dark anyway. You get the idea. So just to colour that a little bit, I'll daub some off. It's sticking to me because I've got a bit of glue on my finger, but get some colour on there, and we'll attach. Might just get rid of a little bit more glue. It really is quite a blob. I've just got a piece of card out of my bin just to get rid of a blob. There we go. Okay, so would carefully just put some ink on that one, trying not to get it in the glue. Sticking to me. Right, let's put this one on top. I like the way daubing just gives you that subtle hint of colour. And I've done one darker than the other, of course. Do the little half one next. It's like a closed flower. Actually, probably do need a little bit more. I'm just loving this set. The paper is absolutely stunning. And yeah, I veered away from using it because I thought it was out of stock. Anyway, you'll be able to get it in July, so you might already have it. Okay. It was soft sea foam. Okay, so now let's add the centres. I think these two full ones are about the same size, so now I want a very small dot. It's more like it. Put it the right way, Vanessa. Here we go. Actually got glue there on the glass mat. Right, so the half one, I've just been putting a little dot of glue on that sort of raised near the centre of the long skinny one. And just putting this little cup one over the top like that. And then the centre is also kind of a cup shape, like a half circle. So I'm just going to go there we are. So that's our flowers, and that's how they go together. Okay, we can probably come back to this piece now while that glue dries. And for my layers, I'm going to actually cut this into 3. I'm going to cut it at 4 centimetres, which is about 1.5 inches if you're using imperial. And I'm actually wondering, I might use my little guillotine just because I don't know that my blade is all that sharp. And when you've got embossing, it could just make a bit of a furry edge. So I'm going to go with this. I want to make sure it's straight. It just gives me a really nice cut. So keep them in the same order that you cut them in. And my piece was actually a little bit longer than what I need, but I want 3 at 4 centimetres. I'll just get rid of that. But when you use one of the 3D embossing folders, because there's quite a lot of embossing on that folder, you can find that your paper kind of shrinks a little bit. So I usually start with a piece that is longer than what I need. Okay, so my plan is to have those along there like that with a little bit of the soft sea foam coming through. So I always lay them on first and get the spacing right, and then just pick up one at a time. And glue them down. So you want that even edge all the way around. Actually, I might do the two ends and then do the middle. So if you are waiting for the embossing folder, you could do this just with the paper, of course. You don't have to do the embossing technique. But I find that there's quite a bit of interest always when I do something with an embossing folder. People always want to know ways to get more out of your folders. So this is a good way to show that. Now, I have some ideas of how I want to finish it. So we'll just have a little play. I'm going to put a sentiment. Actually, I could stamp that now. I've got "You're an amazing friend." And I'm going to do that in Peaceful Pine on the, what's it called? Soft sea foam. Okay, so I'm going to do it with a little gap at the end. Oh gosh, I hope this piece is going to be big enough. I might have cut it a little bit thin. Just fits. Oh, it is a little bit thin. It'll be okay. Okay, so the plan is to have that somewhere here. And then I've got my little, so I cut out the leaves that I think you're meant to put the flowers on. So I can attach my flowers now. And I was trying to figure out which way is best. I think it works best for me with, I put the largest one there rather than at the top. I think that works out better. Yeah, there was just a bit more room for some reason than if I had it at the very top. Okay, so I'm going to put a little dot. Oh, my glue has a funny blob on the end. Just using a tissue to get rid of that blob. Right, so I'm going to put all the glues on now, I think, and then I'll attach each flower. So now I'm just trying to get a very little blob. Just got to be patient. Oh, there we go. Right. So this is my largest one. So I'm going to put that there. So I'm just aiming for the middle of the flower. Onto that. Have to overlap. Like so. And then this little half one. Go on there. Oops. I'm in that glue again on my mat. Okay, so this was going to go at the end. And I wanted to have something underneath it, I thought. So I've got two different ones of the leaves cut out from the soft sea foam. But I'm actually wondering if it's okay just on its own. So you could do that. Or we could do... That's a bit covered up. That came out from there. You'd have like that. But I don't know. Maybe just having just that on its own is enough. Because there's quite a lot happening in the background. Good afternoon, Heather. Lovely to have you along live. Oh, the other thing I hadn't thought about yet was what we're doing for embellishments. There is some that actually comes with the suite, so I'll probably use those. Quite like that one, I think, that pointy, the more pointy sort of leaf. And it's good to use one of the other dyes. Okay, so we'll put that on. So I always only just glue on the bottom parts of these longer elements. I like to have the top sort of free. Okay, so I'm going to kind of go on an angle like that. And now I might do a little flag end on my sentiment. I wonder if I'd need to make that a bit wider. I think it's okay. Quite like it going over the three panels. So I'm just going to do a flag end here. So what I've done is I've cut down, so that gives me my middle point, and then I'm going to cut into that point from each corner. I may not, it's a little bit hard to see this light colour. There we go. And we have to put that on dimensionals, so I have got some big ones here, so I'll have to cut them. Let's come up so you can see what I'm doing. It's just brightened up here in the last sort of hour or so, I think. Had quite a bit of rain, which has been good. Yeah, this month's product of the month is a really cute stamp set with little animals. Okay. And now behind this, we're going to tuck that in. Or have it over. Oh, I quite like it over. Okay, so we'll put dimensionals behind the flowers. So see how they're just attached with those little bits that were on the die. So if I just put one there, it's going to be hidden, and that will be over the, that's probably enough actually. It's not a very big piece. I'll save that other half for something else, and you can put, oops, a little bit of glue just on the leaves here to hold it where it covers over the piece with the sentiment on it. Some dots there. Oh yeah, quite pleased with that. Looks cute. Okay, so this layer you can choose if you want to have that on dimensionals or if you want to stick it flat. You know me, I'm a dimensional girl, so we're going for those. Maybe I'll go to, I'll use that little half one. There we go. Can't believe it's June already. Halfway through the year. Okay, so that's going to go. And like I say, I've got quite a big border on this one, but it kind of suits this type of card, I think, because that's the size that I had of the GSP. Okay, now we've got those embellishments I was talking about. I just have to find them. Actually, there's a couple we could use. I've got those. And I think this is the one, yeah, Dewdrops. Okay, so these ones are natural matte dots, and it's got that, it's got kind of a mossy meadow colour there, but I think our card's a little bit more peaceful pine. So I've got this set, which is the one that goes with the suite. I've got those lovely light green ones. I've got 2 of those there. Or I've got clear ones, which might look nice. So you can actually, one thing I can do is just take this out of the packet. It's a little bit easier like this when there's less embellishments, because sometimes when you go to peel them off, they start coming off the sticky, the little piece of glue under them. But you can just take that to the project and see which one you like the best. We've even got the Secret Sea colour, which kind of works as well, actually. Which one do we like? I don't really have that colour green in it, although I like the green. I'm wondering about the blue. Something a bit different. Or we could colour our own, but I find that isn't kind to the tips of my blends, so I try to steer away from doing that. What else have we got in my little drawer here? I have some muted palette dots. I think that's a little bit flat, that green. Got shiny things, but I don't really want shiny. No. Oh, I do have those. I don't even know what they're called, but they're kind of greeny looking. Oh, actually, they go quite well with that soft sea foam, don't they? Maybe we use these unnamed ones. Well, that'll be difficult for me to tell you where to buy them. I wonder what they were called. I think they were just like an iridescent dot. Those are called a dewdrop. But they do look really good with that, don't they? Okay, let's do that. Where is my, here, take your pick. Looks like we've got 3 sizes. So there's some left of that size, and then we've got a medium size and then a smaller size. So we can do 1 of each. So I might go down here. Here. And then do a couple up here. This goes to show if you keep things long enough, they will eventually work with something. Although I have used, looks like I've used half that packet, but they do go really well with that soft sea foam. Very pretty. Okay, and then for the inside, where did I get them from? Out of here. What was in there? The other one, the dewdrop one. Oh, here it is. Let's put that away before I go and lose it. Slide that back in there. I don't know if you keep your dimensional, embellishments like this. I think it was actually you, Heather, that told me this tip, to cut the side of the packet, because the flap here has glue on it and it always gets stuck to the paper. So using the side, you can just slip them out. I love that tip, and I've used it for quite a while now. Okay. For the inside, now it's going to go that way. We have to remember that. I've got another word. So I've got you're an amazing friend, and then I've got wishing you happiness and love. And this comes from the Delicate Whispers stamp set. That one there, wishing you happiness and love. I love that font, and I think it's quite a cute. You could give this for a birthday or as a thank you, anything like that, or yeah, something amazing's happening in the person's life. You can celebrate them with a card. So I'm going to use Peaceful Pine for that part. Oh, and I haven't tested this. This is the first time I'm using this stamp, so I'm just going to bring in my scrap paper, just getting very covered, and just make sure that it's stamping well. Got a double W there. Is that because I was on that bit? Maybe. It's a little bit strange, so we'll just give it a clean. Try again. That's better. Yeah, that W's thinned out. It was getting a little bit thick there. Okay, so I'm just going to go across the middle. Looks like I've missed the P's. So you can see through the stamp. I just felt there that the P's, the bottom of the P's weren't quite inked up. Lovely. And then I've got the little leaf, or one of the leaf stamps from the Fern Flora set, and that's going to have soft sea foam. And this is a little one I've been using actually since getting this set. I'm just stamping a leaf through the words on the inner, which is quite nice. And I'm going to stamp it off so it's a lighter version. Stamp that off and then just go, oh, actually I might do it that way. It's just nice to have that little hint of a leaf. Brings everything together. Okay, and then that's going to go on the inside. Oh, I've got stuff all over the place today. Just get my edges lined up. Like that, and pop it in. I do have little bits everywhere. That's better. I like to have a nice clean inside. Okay, and we'll just give the edge another little, oh, it's sitting down quite well, but we'll give it another little crease. And there we have it. A cute card with the technique of you putting ink over the debossed side of your embossing folder on Designer Series paper. So I hope you've enjoyed that. And I'll be back again in 2 weeks' time with another video. I'll see you then. Bye.